everyone, and welcome to a new video. Today I will be doing episode 19 in my Create This Book series. Today I'll be showing you 5 pages that I completed. 3 will be on camera and then 2 I did off camera. So the first one says create a bumpy page. So for this one I had this clear little window peeking through from the other prompt, so I kind of wanted to include that in this one. And I didn't really include it, it just kind of stayed there and I just worked around it. So I got a separate piece of paper and I made a texture on it with this little plant pot thing in a brown color with a pencil crayon. And on that paper I traced out a tree design and then added some shadows and some other dark parts of it. I wanted to make a Winnie the Pooh tree. Thought that'd be a cute little way to make a tree and put it in here. That was the only thing I could really think of for texture, so I just went with that. After coloring and drawing that all out, I cut it out with some scissors. I added a window and some more details with a black and white Posca paint pen. So I added some shadows, some more texture, the window like I said previously, and just kind of played around with it until I was happy with how the tree turned out. So behind it, I decided to add some more branches with the leftover parts that I had colored with the textured pencil crayon because I wasn't happy with how the tree turned out. So once that was done, I drew out some Winnie the Pooh characters. So here we have Eeyore and Piglet. I realized I did not do Tigger, so that's kind of sad, but that's okay. I drew these guys out on some cardstock and outlined that with a marker. This random gray Prismacolor marker, and then I'm coloring that in with some pencil crayon and then cutting those little guys out to kind of just use as little stickers on the page. I don't know what I was really going for here. After that, I went through the task of making the leaves for the tree. So I laid out the leaf or the tree on top of this other separate piece of paper and glued that on, and then I'm using different colors of green pencil crayon to draw in a bunch of different leaves on there and then cutting that out. So I wasn't quite happy with how this looked, so I decided to first cover up the rest of the page so there wasn't any marker soaking through, and second of all I trimmed it off and then used the extra leaf parts that weren't on there to kind of fill in the negative space between the tree and the leaf to make it look a little bit more full. And I think this was a smart choice and made the tree look a lot better and a lot more realistic, and the page was just kind of looking a little bare and blank before. So I think this ended up turning out well and was a good decision to fill in the background of the tree. And once the tree was all colored in and complete, I glued in all of the characters with a glue stick on there. I didn't really do much to the background because I wasn't really sure how I wanted the page to look, so I just kept it white, and I am decently happy with it. It's not my favorite page, but I think it looks okay, so that is how this one turned out. So moving on to the next page, this one says create nonsensical creatures, and looking back on this I realized that I didn't really do the prompt right because these are nonsensical creatures, or not nonsensical creatures, these are cats. So sorry for that if you like to follow the prompts to a T, but I guess I did not for this. So as you saw before, I had this really cute little bunny book that I got from a thrift store, so I found a page that I liked and ripped out pieces of it and crumpled them up, and these are going to be these creatures, which are cats. So I glued those around the page, and then with a black Posca pen I drew out the ears, the eyes, the nose, whiskers, and the tail for all of the cats. I've done a lot of cat pages in here, if you have noticed, because cats are my favorite animal, so I think they deserve to be on many pages in my Create This book, and so that's why I include them quite a bit, and I think they're just so fun to draw and so cute. So behind that I made this little cat play thing. There's a bunch of little towers and places for them to sit on and toys and a scratching post and stuff like that. Once that was done, I took out some markers in a muted color scheme, so I have green and blue and brown, and colored in all of their little house toys stuff. I'm not sure what to call it, but I colored that all in, and then later on in the background I added these little fish bones to just kind of fill in the negative space. And I am pleasantly surprised that this page turned out so well. I didn't have much of a plan going into it, but I think the cats look really cute and the color scheme ended up working very nicely. So that is the completed. So this last page that I did on camera is kind of a fail because it's a cover-up from previous mistake that I made, like the first page I did in this book, and the prompt was create stencils, and I didn't realize that this page that I'm doing right now was the page that I was supposed to use to create the stencils. I didn't really read the previous page, so I kind of just used random stencils, so I was putting off doing this page for a while because I had no clue how to do this page since I kind of already screwed it up by doing the next page, if that makes any sense. So I decided to make this like shape stained glass windowy thing because I use like tracers and shapes. So I did the shapes on a cardstock piece. I cut all of those out. A very tedious task, let me say that. And then on another piece of paper below it, I colored in different parts so that the color would peek through. I covered that up with some packing tape and then glued the other piece of paper on top. And this looked way cooler in my head, in my opinion. I just imagined like this pretty shapy stained glass window, and it looks really messy and not really what I was going for, so kind of a fail on my part. But that's okay. I think it's still kind of a neat idea, and that's how it turned out. Alrighty, so next we are going to go on to some other pages that are bonus pages that I did off camera. So this first page I use embroidery floss, which I have a very large collection of, so I thought that it was going to be a good idea to use it on one of the pages. So this prompt says create a profession, come up with a ridiculous profession, and draw and write about it. So after doing this, I kind of realized that this may be a profession, so let me know in the comments. This is a horse hairstylist. So these horses are originally made on watercolor paper. I watercolored them and then added in their hair with the embroidery floss that I showed before. This was kind of a tedious process, putting all of their hair mane stuff on there, but I think it looks really cool. I got the inspiration from like My Little Ponies. I wanted to do some colorful horses, and I thought this was a good page to do that. And then surrounding the horses, I added in some horse hair dye, a little ponytail thing, a bow, a brush, and then I wrote horse hairstylist at the top, and then added a little braid with some embroidery floss. And that is how this page turned out. I love how colorful it is, and it was fun to use the embroidery floss in a page for a change. And the final page that I will show you today has the prompt create a dedication. So I dedicated this page to drawing houses, which is something that I have loved to do for like my entire life. So I wanted to draw out this very intricate kind of dollhouse thing where the flap opens up the house and then you can see inside of it. So here is what it looks like on the inside. This took me a very long time to draw, but I had a lot of fun creating all of the different parts of the house, the different colors, coloring that in and putting in all of the home decor. So I did this separately on a piece of like cardstock, and then I covered that all up in some packing tape to kind of make it a little bit more sturdy, and then taped that in. So I think this is really cute, so then you can it's kind of interactive, you can open and close the dollhouse, and I really like how this page turned out. I think it is one of my all-time favorites in here. So that concludes today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed taking a little peek at some of the pages that I have been working on in my Create This book. So the final countdown to finishing this is on because I have less than 20 pages to complete. I know that still sounds like a lot, but with how many prompts there are in here, we are definitely coming down to the end, and I'm hoping to finish this guy up very soon. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great day, and I will see you in my next video.